Okay, Wisconsin, Ohio State. Here's why I love this game is because we also know that Ohio State is going to be great on offense, very similar to Michigan. But what we don't know is how they'll deal with a team that wants to get into a phone booth and slug it out. We saw that game kind of play out against Notre Dame, and Ohio State, they answered the bell, yes, but they only scored 21 points. Now they go up against a Badgers team that you know is going to play great defense. So if you're looking to see exactly how good Ohio State's offense is, this week is a prove-it week for that offense. Now, C.J. Stroud has been ridiculous, and those wide receivers are ridiculous. They're deep at running back. I love their offensive line. Should they be able to move the ball? Yes. But this is the best defense that they will have faced so far this season. It's a prove-it week for them. I love Jim Leonard. You know that at any point that I can say the name Jim Leonard, the defensive coordinator for Wisconsin, I'm going to say it because I think he's one of the best defensive coordinators in the entire country. This is the 11th ranked scoring defense in the country. I think that will continue to improve. And it should be noted that in their one test this year, granted it was the first game of the season, but in their one test this year, Ohio State, who's supposed to be an offensive juggernaut, was held under 400 yards in that opener against Notre Dame. Now, why is that a big deal, Joel? Well, the last time they were held under 400 yards was actually the national championship game in the COVID year against Alabama. So it's been a long time. Even in their loss to Michigan, even in their struggle against Nebraska, their loss to Oregon, they still gained over 400 yards. This year, granted, they won the game, but we've seen them struggle on offense through periods of that game. Even in a game in which they didn't play great offensively against Penn State last year, they still gained over 400 yards. They did not against Notre Dame. Now, it was close. I believe it was 395. The last time they were held under that mark, COVID year, national championship against Alabama. So is there an opening for a great defense to potentially slow them down, make this a game? Because we do know that when they get into that style of game, they have gotten beat twice last year. Oregon at home, Michigan on the road. So that's something to just keep in the back of your mind. Now, Stroud looks like he is on his way to New York as a Heisman finalist, potentially even the Heisman winner. He's playing that good. 11 touchdowns, no interceptions. Of the players in the country that have not thrown an interception, he's got the most touchdowns, 11 of them. He's got unbelievable wide receivers. The one thing that I'm looking at, though, is this Ohio State defense has given up some big plays. In every one of their games so far this year, they've given up a 50-plus yard touchdown, and now they're about to face a team that offensively isn't great, and we know that, but they have Braylon Allen. He's running it for over 100 yards per game. You know they're going to be tough. Ohio State favored by 19 at home. That's still a game that's a prove-it game. That is still a game that is a prove-it game for the Buckeyes, and I can't wait to see how it all shakes out. Clemson at Wake Forest. Now, is Clemson's offense struggling to the point that they did in their first game? No. They've gotten back on track, namely the fact that Will Shipley has been able to run the football. It's still a team that only put up, I think, 13 at half. Last week. I mean, it's not a juggernaut. This is an offense that right now is 63rd in the country in total offense, and they're going to face a team in Wake Forest that has their quarterback back after that medical scare, and they won 11 games last year. Wake Forest is no slouch. Wake Forest is so much better at home. As they've been able to build their program up and get to this point where they're ranked, okay, so they're ranked 21st. They're only a dog by 7.5. And at home, you think to yourself, like, man, Clemson should be able to take care of business. Clemson's offense is not running away from anybody. And Wake Forest is 17-2 in their last 19 home games. I think this is a much tougher game for Clemson than people realize. I think it's going to be closer than people realize. It could be low scoring. Clemson's offense is not running away for anybody. They're 63rd in total offense. I still think there's going to be a time in this season where they've got to go to Klubnik. Because Uiagalelei, there's something off. When I watch their offense, his ability to process and get to things quickly is not there. There's not the conviction in operation that there should be from a guy that is now an experienced quarterback in college football, in particular with his talent level and with the skill set around him. That's still a really talented team. This is going to be a closer game than you realize. Clemson's going to be in what I would call a dogfight at Wake Forest. Again, Wake Forest 17-2 in their last 19 home games, and Clemson favored by 7.5. Oh, I love this game. You know why? Kansas State plays Oklahoma so well. There's history in this game. Granted, not against Bill Snyder, but this is where Brent Venables played. This is where he cut his teeth. This is where he started coaching, was against K-State. K-State, regardless of what they do the week before they play Oklahoma, always play Oklahoma well. A couple of years ago, we went in for the opener, and Gus and I watched Arkansas State beat Kansas State in Manhattan. The next week, we traveled to Norman to do Kansas State at Oklahoma. Kansas State won that game out of nowhere. Kansas State has won outright 2 of the last 3 against Oklahoma. Now, this version of Oklahoma might be different, and certainly what I saw last Saturday suggests that it's a different team. They're different on defense. I thought they were faster. They were much more structurally sound in coverage. They're getting a lot of production. Nobody has the production tackles that Oklahoma does in the country. And again, production tackles meaning tackles for loss or sacks. They were getting after it. Granted, it was against a Nebraska team that had the life totally sucked out of them in a coaching change week. But, man, I don't care who they were playing. They looked really good last week. So this is a different version of Oklahoma. But, again, you can't ignore the history. K-State has won 2 of the last 3 outright. Oklahoma is favored by 12.5. And I just keep going back. I keep going back to their history. And 2 years ago when Arkansas State beat them, because last week – K-State lost to Tulane, and I don't think that's going to bother them. They're going to go in there. Not only have they won 2 of the last 3, but last year they lost by only 6. You know, if you're looking at just history in this, I might take K-State. I might take those 12.5. Maybe it was fool's gold. I don't know. Maybe Nebraska played the worst game that they've ever played, and that we're all a little too high on Oklahoma. Maybe Oklahoma is a bit too high on themselves after last week. I don't know, but I do know one thing. K-State plays them ridiculously well. They've won 2 of the last 3. Their loss was by 6, and their dogs by 12.5. I might take them in the points. OU, I like what you're doing. I really do. Go back and check out episode 2 of the podcast. This might be a game that they struggle with. Remember, they were down 3-0 to Kent State in the last series of the first half in their last home game. So watch out. Watch out for the Wildcats. Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoy that clip, make sure you click subscribe somewhere down here. From game highlights to exclusive interviews and rankings, we've got everything you need as a college football fan right here. College football on Fox.